Hello everyone, welcome back to the KB Cabinet channel. My name is Rob, and tonight I wanted to make a quick video showing how I design a cabinet inside of Cabinet Vision that is bigger than the sheet of plywood I am using, and how I send it to the CNC where I can still process it. It's my kind of workaround for the CNC. Not having enough material there to get it all out of one piece, so I got to put a splice. We use 4x8 sheets of plywood, and a lot of shops use 4x8 sheets of plywood. And yes, there are you can get bigger sheets of plywood. My CNCs technically can run a 5x12 sheet of plywood. If you've ever tried to maneuver a 5x12 sheet of plywood all day long, carrying it around, you have to have two people. It kind of makes sense as to why a lot of people gravitate to the 4x8 sheets, because it's manageable for one person, and it can be hard with the big wide sheets of plywood. Sometimes you can't even get them in. People don't have garage doors big enough to get them in, and all the storage space it takes up. So with that being said, many times we make cabinets that are bigger than an 8-foot sheet of plywood, and I do it on the CNC, and I kind of do a little workaround, and it's not necessarily intuitive, but it's really the only way for me that I found where it doesn't disrupt my workflow. So that's what we're going to do. Alright, I'm going to stop rambling, and we're going to take a look at this cabinet behind us. And so this is 107 inches tall. This is an oven cabinet. It represents something I do pretty frequently. A couple things to point out before I get going too far into this is this does have a toe kick, whereas a lot of times if we do this to the ceiling, we're not going to put a toe kick there. We're actually going to detach it so you can get it up to the ceiling, stand it up. But we're just going to pretend it's like a 10-foot ceiling house, and we're only going 9 foot up with the cabinets. Alright, so if we take a look at what we got going here, I'm inside of Cabinet Vision. So if you don't necessarily know what I'm doing, I think in theory this kind of the principle of what I'm doing should work, and I would think any CAD that you have. So we're gonna kind of look at this, what all operations we got going. From the side view, which is our longest piece, we've got a dado, we got some drill holes here, we got a dado for floors, dado, and then a back rabbet. Alright, so we're basically going to cut this thing in half and run it in half. And so what I do is I look at it, and I have to figure out where is the best place to put the splice. And there's a lot of times in cabinetry where you have to use a splice, and so trying to figure out where sometimes you can't always hide it, so you're like, where is the best place to put it, so that way if people do see it, it's not in hopefully a really high visible area. So if we take a look at this cabinet, once it's all installed, you're going to have a microwave here, and you're going to have an oven there. So really, we should be able to get away with putting a splice anywhere kind of in this area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually copy this cabinet. I'm going to put it really close to this one, and we're going to double click, and we're going to delete everything out of here. Okay, and we're going to make another copy. Just put it right here for a second. Alright, we're going to focus on this one. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to name this real quick bottom, and then I'll name this one real quick tops, just so that way. So as we build this thing, we're going to pretend we're not going to pretend we're going to do it. This is the bottom, and this is the top. Alright, so the first thing I do is I got 107 inches on this, and I kind of figure, where am I going to put the splice? So let's say we want to put the splice like right in here. I'm just going to put like 65 inches. And honestly, that's not too bad. You know, you're going to have a joint there, but you're never going to see it because once the microwave's installed. Alright, so what we're going to do next is we're going to double click this, and we're basically going to we're going to start building this out from the bottom. If we go to 3D real quick, we can look and see, okay, we've got a top here, which we don't want because we're going to, you know, this is the top, so we want the top up here, but we don't want a top on this one because it's going to be in the middle. So we need to get rid of that. We need to add a drawer down here, and then these two things right here. So in cabinet vision, if I double click into a cabinet, I go into my cabinet editing layer, and I'm going to put a horizontal split, and I'm going to delete this top part because we don't need it. We're going to make this, first we're going to turn it into a drawer. Sorry if I'm talking fast, I just don't want this to drag on forever. I know these long videos, if they're too long, it can get hard to watch. So we're gonna lock the height here, and so when I click lock height, as I change stuff, it won't change my drawer height. And 8 inches is an opening for the bottom drawer on an oven cabinet that we use quite frequently. Just looks nice, works. Okay, I'm gonna make this as an 1.5 inches. We're on 1.5 inches face frame increments, so we're gonna double that and make it 3. All right, if we jump back out a second and we look, okay, we're getting close. So next thing we got to do, if we go to 3D, we don't have a floor here. To put a floor in my opinion, this is unintuitive, but this is how it works in cabinet vision. You got this horizontal split, you click again and drag. Well, in theory that works. Oh, well, I lied to you. It's because I'm in that face view. I got to be in the interior. So we're going to do the same. Click and drag over the area with the 2 dashed lines in between that, and we're going to click once, and then it'll put a floor in. It's kind of weird how they do it, but it's how they do it. So can't really get around it. Alright, I don't know why that's up here, so we're going to delete all this. I'm going to delete that front face frame, but we still got a floor to get rid of, or top. So if I go to properties, under my case properties, I'm going to come up here under case and click no top, and that just removes, it basically just opens up the top. Alright, so now we have to add this 3-inch, this is 3 inches even though it's not marked, so this 3-inch rail. So we're gonna, I apologize if I'm stopping and starting my speech, man. Long day, just got back from Oklahoma City, family deal, and it was a good week, but it was tiring. Alright, so I'm gonna delete we just want this style, or this rail. Alright, it's 3 inches thick, and my gap, I'm going to come over here, and from here to here, it's showing 33 3/4. So I'm going to click in here, I'm just going to put 33 3/4 for the height. Come back into my interior, I'm going to click and drag my horizontal split, and that's going to give me my floor. So we basically got the oven portion done. So now all we got to do is the top, and let's bring this over. Alright, so if this was 107 and this was 65, what we're going to do is we're going to subtract. We're going to put 107 minus 65, and that gives me 42. So this one will be 42 tall. So we're going to come up here 42, and for my elevation if we put 65, it'll bring us right to the top, and my clearance is 1, and then it's going to bring it right over. Alright, so obviously we got to do a few things to it. First thing, I'm going to come in here to toe, and this is where we set our toe heights, and 3.5 is what we use. I'm going to zero that out. We're going to get rid of it, and then we're going to go to case, and I'm going to get rid of the bottom, so no bottom, so that it opens the bottom up, and all we got to do is just get rid of that face frame on the front. And there, now we've got our blank area. So same thing here. We've got, if we go in here, I'm just going to get rid of the doors a second. We've got a height of 33, and so all we have to do, this is 3 inches here. So we're going to, under face, we're going to do a split. We're going to delete out that bottom section because we don't need it. But this top section we want 33. Actually, we need to make this 3 inches. And now make that 33. And there we go. So it's lining up really close. Okay, so obviously we're going to add 2 doors here, but really I'm just going to get rid of the doors for now because really don't need it. Doors are irrelevant for what we're doing here. So if I go to the interior, I'm going to click and drag, put a floor down, and then inside I'm also going to put, under multi-split, some adjustable shelves. The way Cabinet Vision works is that you have to apply shelves to a cabinet for it to apply drilling operations to it. Like, so it's not going to drill. You can't just put like, say I want to drill bang, I want a set of drill holes right here. It's tethered to the shelf. So that's why my early days with Cabinet Vision, I'd forget to put a shelf in. We'd run the cabinets and then there would be no drill holes, and you can't just quickly cut a shelf and put it in because it didn't drill the holes. So if we take a look at the original side view, you can see how the shelves are kind of recessed back here a little. We do that for ease of access, and if you click a shelf, you can see here in the adjustment that -7. Okay, so inside of Cabinet Vision, if I were to zero this out, and I go to my end view, 0 represents no clearance between the front of the shelf and the face frame. -7 represents a clearance of 7 inches to the start of the shelf. So that's kind of the logic behind that. So right here, we're going to go into our section, to our interior, and on each shelf I'm going to put -7. -7. Alright, if we go to our end view and see, now we've got 7 inches of clearance. And we should be good. So now, as you can see, these cabinets look identical, except for this one in real life is going to have a splice, whereas this one is not going to have a splice. Well, in the CAD, wouldn't if you were able to run it. But we're able to see that everything lines up, so there shouldn't be any reason why we can't run it this way. And so then where we go from here, just kind of demonstrate the error that we'll get. So if I go into my screen to machine, which is where you decide what it is we are going to send out. If I filter my parts, we're going to filter, let's copy both of these. I'm going to select, wow, come on, that didn't, we're going to, oh, come on. I don't know what Cabinet Vision's doing here. Let's try it this way. Let's do the unfinished sides. Okay, I don't know what Cabinet Vision's doing there. It's doing something funny. This is my home computer, and I don't have it set up. I don't do actual work off it, so there's something maybe I need to do. But anyway, okay, if we can, I'll kind of explain to you what you're seeing back here. These two red finished ends represent the entire 107 length wall, the ends for those cabinets. I have it set up in Cabinet Vision where it says if the part exceeds 96 inches, do not run it. Don't even optimize it. Give me an error, and then I'll deal with it from there. So that's what it's going to do. It's giving me these. It's highlighting them in red, and it will not let me optimize it. It doesn't matter what I do. I can try, but it won't. Now, down here, these represent the two parts that we did make, and it will, has no problem doing that because we broke them down into sections that can run. So if I hold Control and I get rid of those, and if we take a look at the optimization here, and so here's the unfortunate reality of doing it this way on a CNC is your waste is not. I mean, it's hard to optimize it efficiently. We build our oven cabinets at a depth of 26 inches, and so when you got a 4x8, that's where you're not going to get it's not going to be wide enough to get multiple parts on it. But if I scroll through my 3 sheets, I'm able to see. So here's both top sections for the left and right side, and then here are my 2 bottom sections. So we biscuit join them. So what I do is I run them like this, and then they'll biscuit join them here, and they'll put the corresponding top. Like I said from the beginning, I don't know if I might be the only one who has this problem to where I have to do it this way. But I just felt like, I'll make a short video on it anyway, because maybe there is someone out there who's, just, is wondering the thought process about, approaching a tall cabinet or something. And so, anyway, if this was a worthless video and you didn't get anything out of it, let me know. But hopefully, hopefully somebody out there got a little something out of it, and you guys have a good evening, and I'll see you guys in the next video.